to the Dangerville Podcast.
Like we always do about this time.
It's Friday night. You are correct.
The greatest show of all time.
Yes.
Dramatic.
All right. Man, we're getting there. And everything's set up here. It's been a rough start here with everybody being out. All right, Darius, welcome, buddy. Thank you for coming.
Hey.
We had to reschedule you once, right?
Twice.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
It's all good. It's all good.
That sucks. That's harsh. Sorry.
Yeah, we run a real half-ass operation here between the two of us.
In case you can't tell, we have no idea what the hell we're doing here. So,
No, you guys were golden. It was an absolute pleasure to be on here. All my friends will be had that great time. So Carl loved it. Alex loved it.
yeah, those are funny. Those are funny people, man. Yeah,
Good dudes.
hilarious. Yeah, for sure. So, what's up with you? You've been doing stand-up comedy for a while.
3 years I've been doing stand-up, but I've been able to just move a little bit faster up the ranks, thankfully, and I've been very blessed about it. I just got to do a showcase at Dr. Gren's last night.
Ooh, nice. Is that your first time there?
No, I think this year alone, I've worked 2 weekends, and then this would be my second showcase. No, I worked another weekend, and so... Yeah, no, I've been a part of a lot of it there.
It's showcase, does that mean there's like a lot of people on a lineup? Is that what that kind of means?
Like 5 or 6 comics, they all do same time. So we did 5 comics, they all do 12 minutes.
Okay.
Versus your traditional weekend of a 3-man show.
Yeah, like a
Yep.
Right on. Is there like, but there's not like a headliner or nothing in there. It's just like
Someone's closing out.
Yeah.
At best.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's fun times. Every time I go to Dr. Gren's, it's a fucking blast. You know, like every single time. You know,
That's got to be kind of the top spot around here, I would
Yeah, I
imagine,
would
just
think
in terms
so.
of like getting
Yeah.
big names and whatnot.
It's one of the top clubs as far as the state goes. I mean, you think about it, Mark Ridley's is number 1. After Mark Ridley's, I would say Dr. Gren's.
is Mark Ridley's in Detroit or something?
Yep, Royal Oak.
Okay. Yes. Hell yeah.
And that pulls the rest of the headliners. I would say headliners that aren't doing arenas or
Yeah.
theaters,
Yeah.
they're going to Mark Ridley's. And then after Mark Ridley's, they're for sure most likely going to be at Dr. Gren's.
Right.
I love it, though.
Yeah.
So Mark Ridley's is definitely going to be the next one. I'm going to be working there next year. So
Is that fucking place above the Creston Brewery or whatever? Is that going again?
kind of. So there's a couple companies that kind of run it, but you also had a buddy of ours, Joe Elder. He also was running shows out of there, but they were Michigan-made lineups. They were amazing, and he would just make sure that it was a better way to showcase local talent.
Nice.
And that's a fun room because you can pack it out. I want to say he sold out the room maximum capacity once or twice.
Yeah.
It's very impressive, and I got to be a part of one of the shows.
Nice. Yeah, we saw who did you see there?
Kevin Nealon.
We saw Kevin Nealon there. Oh god. I mean, like it was fucking hilarious, you know, as you'd expect. And like he's just talking about the old SNL days and all that shit. But then and like we were like psyched because we lived right around the corner basically, and we were like, hell yeah, they're gonna be, you know, bringing in like fucking guys like this, you know, like, you know, it's a good time. It's Thursday night, whatever. You can smoke, a little drink, you can see Kevin Nealon talk shit. And then it was like
Shortly thereafter, not so much.
yeah, it
Not
was
so
just
much,
like, oh, by the way, it's closed now. Like all this fucking drama and shit. And we were just like, God damn it! Like,
Was that the Full House days? I'm guessing the Full House days where he ran it, and then next thing you know, people just weren't really getting paid fully.
that's what my understanding is. I've heard a couple people talk about it, and like everybody seems to have a perspective or something. But my perspective is just like I just want to like go see these shows, you know. And I was like, come on, like fucking. It's pissed me off.
I mean, it's impressive. I think the person that runs the closest thing to that, where you can see some still like top talent coming around to very like low key places. Tim Locke, you guys have him on before.
Yeah.
He runs Fresh Ghost, and the thing is, I just appreciate his goal is just to bring comedy to smaller areas that you wouldn't get it.
Right.
So like Greenville, Fremont, Roxbury,
I think
Montague.
he's doing something in Fruitport or maybe Fruitport, but Muskegon definitely coming up here, that's where we're from originally.
Oh,
So, yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I should remember this.
We're out of Ski Town.
Same
I
here.
thought you were listening to every episode, bro. Come on.
I get through. I'm doing stuff as I'm listening, you know.
Yeah. You from Muskegon too?
I am.
Hell yeah. What part?
Graduated Muskegon High School, man.
Muskegon, all right.
Downtown.
Hell yeah.
Amity and Wood.
Represent.
Not always. Not always.
Yeah, it's like I'm only bringing it up when somebody asks.
Yeah. Like Grand Rapids, yeah. I've been here my whole almost life.
Yeah, well, Fruitport's got its own thing. You know what I mean? You say you're from Fruitport, they're like, oh, you fucking hick. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
And they're correct.
yeah, indeed. They're like, yeah, that's fair.
You had that. You had people that were like the Oak Ridge area. You got that. You Maple Hill, Ravenna. I mean, I had friends with almost everyone in it because Career Tech Center.
Oh, yeah.
So I like took culinary. So I made friends in Holton and Twin Lake and Whitehall. So I used to go out there. And my grandma always freaked out about it a little bit. She was just like, you know what? I need everyone's names, numbers, their moms,
sort of Rolodex,
Social Security.
Yeah.
But going out there, I mean, it was fine. It was always one of those things where I loved it. We did games I would never play in the city. You know, we took arrows, we shoot them directly in the air, stay in the circle.
Yeah.
It's good natured hijinks, you know?
I mean, last one stays in, you win.
Worth it.
Or
Real
die.
test of manhood.
You were studying culinary shit. You still doing that kind of thing?
No. Now I went to Grand Valley and I got my degree in exercise science.
Nice, man.
Nice.
So I run an orthopedic laser therapy office in Grand Rapids, and that's the main gig. And then comedy falls like part-time job at this point.
Sure.
If you got any tips for getting these calves slightly less chicken-like, that'd be much appreciated, man. Let me know. It's a real problem. It's a real problem.
We'll figure it out. I think we can figure it out. There's a large program, and it's not fun.
Better get You're too fucking lazy.
Seems like an awful lot of work.
Because I asked, because you rolled in fucking with the drink setup, dude. This might be our friend Mike Nolan, man. He's a drink guy, and he's rolled into some shit, but this is pretty impressive. This guy rolled into the whole fucking bag with the gin. What'd you make over there? Look at
Negroni.
this drink. The Negroni. God damn it, the oranges, the dried
Got all the
oranges
garnishes and stuff.
dude.
That's a good look. That's a
it
real
is,
good
dude.
look.
That's the way to roll.
I mean, I like to always just come prepared, never stress whoever I'm there, you
There you
know?
go. Yeah.
It's like make sure company feels at home. I'm like, you know what? If I can help, I'll bring it.
Yeah. Bring your own too.
Yes.
What'd you bring for us?
Yeah.
I'm willing to share. It's delicious. Negroni.
So fucking when I cleaned out my grandparents' place, they had this like briefcase, and you opened the briefcase, and it was like an old school bar, like a traveling bar. Whoa. And there was like the shaker in it, you like strapped, and it was like old school luggage.
Yes.
Strapped it in, and then all the like stirs and all this shit, and the space for the bottle and all this shit. And I like can't find it. Now, I don't know. We think we have some ideas of where it ended up, but it's like we're on this fucking mission to like locate that fucking thing now, because we're like, God damn it,
That's
thing
a
ruled.
tough loss
It's like
if you can't
literally from
find
the
that, yeah.
1960s, you know, like damn it.
I mean, that's 007 like up
That's
there, you know?
exactly what it was, dude. Yep. Making dirty martinis and shit.
Some Mad Men shit right there.
Yes,
You got to be
Mad Men.
equipped to like noon to start tying one
Yeah.
on.
Oh, he goes with the whole thing with James Bond later on. I don't know if you guys caught on later. It was a shaken, not stirred.
Yeah.
And that just makes the drink like less alcoholic. I learned.
Like, I guess it
Dilutes
more,
it,
adds
if you
more
will.
water basically from the ice.
Man, that was not a move. I had so much pride for him, but then it went down.
Yeah.
But then Idris Elba did it, and I was like, you know what? It got a little cooler.
Yeah.
They were kicking his name around for a hot minute for Bond replacements.
Yeah.
Did they ever settle on a
He
new
would
guy?
have
or
been
is that
sweet,
still,
but
like-
he's too old.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, he's in his like 50s now, you know, or whatever. Like,
You get one movie probably out of him.
yeah, and they're not going to do that. I mean, they franchise it out. They typically find somebody who's like a little bit more obscure. I mean, he was already a fucking huge star, and like,
True.
you know, I don't know. I don't know if Sean Connery was already a huge star when he was, you know, the original or whatever. But
I heard they just kind of found him. Like he had 4 movies that were pretty well known much later on under his belt, and then they found him, and then he got the start basically.
yeah,
But I think we did that with Equalizer though. We just went and got come on, famous black. Oh wait, this isn't limited yet.
Denzel or did they get a new-
Denzel.
okay, yeah.
Denzel.
yeah.
Well, at first the movies did that, and then they did the Queen Latifah TV series, and I was like, I'm never watching this.
I forgot they did that.
Yeah, I don't even know about that.
Oh, good. Don't. That's good. I'm lucky for you.
Tough look, yeah.
Not that I dislike Queen Latifah. She's pretty chill. She was in a bunch of good ass movies back in the day. You know,
Taxi.
like, yeah, some fucking like. She was in a lot of random shit. She was in that movie, that underwater movie with like fucking Sam L. Or was it the Sphere or something? Or one of those, dude.
Was she in that?
I don't know, dude. She's
feel
in
like
a
we would've
lot of
debated
random
about this
movies in the
before.
fucking in the 90s.
Sphere's
yeah.
a chillest flick, by the way, dude. Love me some Sphere, baby.
Man, Queen Latifah, I feel like my favorite. So unfortunately, my fiance, I sorry with unfortunately, they do the Christmas traditions and stuff. You know how a lot of people watch Elf?
Yeah.
They watch The Last Holiday.
I don't know what that is.
Oh man, that's Queen Latifah.
Latifah.
I'm teaching you guys a lot tonight. We're getting some culture.
Yeah.
A lot of black culture. She's white, and it was basically a movie where a woman thought she was going to die. They thought she had a prognosis that she had cancer and it was terminal.
Yeah,
and just found out that actually there was just something wrong with the machine that took the X-rays. So she spent her entire life savings, pulled out all the money, swiped, got the credit cards, and lived her best life. And she eventually wins a ton of money at the casino, and then she can pay everything back and then some. Happy ending. Right. Don't watch it.
And it all worked out for Queen Latifah.
When does it not?
Indeed. Yeah, are you following the new fucking Gladiator is starring Denzel. You guys seen the previews for this shit?
I have not.
Gladiator 2.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I don't know what to think about that. The Gladiator's pretty choice, but like...
Is it? I can't remember. Is it Ridley Scott doing the
it's
new
full
one?
on, like full on sequel. Like Ridley Scott directed it. Whatever. It's about like the kid that wasn't, which I kind of hardly even remember the plot of actual Gladiator. But apparently there was a kid, and now the kid's grown up. Oh, that's the plot. Denzel is like ex-slave, now training the gladiators thing or whatever, you know.
No more sequels to classic movies.
There we go. There we go.
Just leave the damn thing alone, man. Gladiator was a banger. We don't need to redo it. We don't need a sequel. We don't need a prequel. Let's let well enough be alone for a change here.
How'd you feel about that Top Gun, though?
Still haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
I heard nothing but good things. Everybody's like, dude, it's so much fun. It's so ridiculous. And in fairness, like if it's some, action movie, some half-ass thing, like sequel your ass off, dude. Make a shitload of them.
Bring back Crank.
Come on,
yeah. That's good shit.
John Wick,
man. Keep coming with them.
Yeah, exactly. There's not exactly a plot line that's going to work in there. It's like,
can anybody tell you the plot of John Wick? There's some mysterious hotel or something.
There's that sweet part where he shoots all those dudes. Like, that's one of the most memorable moments in that flick.
I like the part where he used a pen to kill somebody. I was like, okay, that's
probably the best kill.
That's a good look.
I remember seeing that shit in the theater and everybody was like, "Oh!" It was like that.
I mean, that he did the book. That was a classic one now. But then I saw you do something on the internet, someone's going to imitate it. And I saw a guy try to, he stared at the pen and the officer was next to him. And he tried the move, got put down. He just didn't have the dexterity. I don't know what it was.
It's not Keanu Reeves.
There we go.
Keanu Reeves was just here in town, dude. You catch that shit?
Really?
This band played at 20 Monroe.
How long ago?
That's fairly
It was only not even a month ago, 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, something. Apparently it was okay at best. He's had that band forever. He plays bass in this band, which is chill. And he's just still playing with his friends, just going on tour. We're gonna play some fucking. I think they're like a alternative rock kind of thing or something like that.
See, I feel like bass is the appropriate thing for him. It's something relaxed. It's not too shiny, glamorous. He's just having a good time.
My brother was there because his wife's a huge Keanu Reeves fan, and it's just he was yeah, the other guys were these are professional musicians, and then there was Keanu Reeves on bass.
Just chilling, having a good time. Just glad to be here.
Probably high as fuck, just going, yeah,
I know kung fu.
Yeah, but everybody was waiting, and I knew other people that were there that got their pictures taken and shit. And the dude who was they featured it on M Live or whatever, and the guy who was in the featured picture was a guy I know, and I was just cracking up. Y'all waited in that fucking line 4 hours.
I always wanted to be one of those featured picture guys, though. I always wanted
just
to.
With the celebrity going.
Oh yeah. Hey man, that's going straight to my website. Dude, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Taking it out of context, cropping that shit. You're hanging with Keanu. It's just me and this is backstage with Keanu tonight, dude.
Just hanging with the Reeves, That's what we call them. Only the cool entourage.
Putting it up at your show, he was at your show. We was in the green room.
Oh god.
Me and Keanu came out. The homie.
Known him since day one, but it's all right. It's all right. Some of you guys call him John Wick. I just call him.
He's just K-Dog to me.
K-Dog.
Puts his overly tight pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. At the end of the day,
He's then we are definitely brothers. That's the one thing I think my pants are kind of normal. I kind of know they're tight now because people will come up to me and they'll say, I remember you. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Like, you remember me from like some like unique joke, show. Yeah. You were the comic with the tight pants. And I think I tried to lean into it like a few times. And that's when I think people just didn't care as much. I'm like, yeah, glad to be here. I know what you guys are all thinking. How did I get these pants on? Yeah.
It's funny. Like, I would be like, take it to like they keep saying you're wearing tight pants, but you think they're saying tight like cool. You know, like, dude, those are tight pants. Damn, thanks, man.
Oh,
you know? Like,
I think actually people were doing that, and I never caught on till now, like a few years down the game.
Like, man, people love my pants, dude. Like, I got killer fashion sense.
Dude,
Everybody keeps saying my pants are tight.
It gets tough. I was doing, it was just a mic. It was the one that Carl Sobel runs, and it's River City. And great comic, Simon Carlson goes on stage, and he, like, starts to set off like the first 4 minutes just talking about my pants nonstop. And unfortunately, it's killing.
Indeed.
Round 2, baby.
Nothing like premium podcasting here on Dangerville. That was really bizarre. We just had both our cameras just suddenly go down at once, which has never happened to us before. So,
top tier.
You're bad luck, buddy. I don't know what to say.
You know, what can I say? If you're around me, you get 400 years of bad luck.
Oh, where's the...
Hey, soundboards. Tip-top shape. Something.
Indeed. What the fuck were we talking about, dude? Do you remember? It doesn't really matter.
I don't remember.
Yeah, indeed.
Keanu Reeves in tight pants, his memory serves.
Yes. Which is that's what all conversation should really go to, is Keanu Reeves.
I agree.
Tight pants. We usually talk about like a lot of shows and shit. I'm watching this are you guys watching this Melendez brothers shit on Netflix?
I threw it in the queue. I haven't started it up yet.
It's the dudes who made like American Horror Story. They also make all those like the OJ one with
FX. Yeah, like a while back. I remember that.
FX guys. Yes. They make all these shows. They've done that. I know there was another one. So it's kind of like true crime, but it's like it's a show though. Oh. And the Menendez brothers are those two kids that killed their parents in like 1989. Something like that.
Shotgun to the face. I think.
Shotgun to the face,
dude.
It's a real tough look for the brothers.
It was a huge
brothers
story.
Menendez.
Yeah, but man, this show is so fucked up. I'm only like, how far into it are you?
I haven't started it yet. I just threw it in the queue.
Bro, I don't know. We're halfway through 4 episodes in or something like that, and it was like after like the last episode we watched, we were just like. We were like trying to eat dinner, and we were just like, I can't even eat. Like, it's just like so fucking disturbing.
Just had to put it down and order a pizza.
Yeah, that's what I did tonight.
They had like in the previews for it or something, or maybe like the thumbnail. It was like the brothers being a little too intimate, and then talking
brothers,
about, like,
biological,
biological actual brothers, and they were super rich, as memory serves. I think they were like out in California or somewhere, but like privileged ass kids. And then,
well, you know what they say when you're rich, you want the things that you can't have.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Yes.
The dad was like the A&R president of A&R or something or whatever of like RCA Records at the time, which was like big. That was like huge. You know, like RCA is still big, but I mean, like in 1989, that was like, I don't know. I think that's wherever everybody was on that label. You know what I mean? So like this was like high rolling kind of shit. And dude, the fucking like, not to like fucking give it away. I mean, obviously, you know, they killed their parents, but the actual scene where they kill their parents is just the brutalest, dude. Like, shocking.
I got to give it a try. Yeah. My fiance is watching it, and I walked in on her when they were like, I think the guy was in the confession, he was getting interrogated or something like that, or he was with his lawyer.
Yep.
And he's getting real graphic with describing some things. And I was like, what are you watching?
It gets oof. Yeah.
But I know you're talking about the people that make that, because they are making. So I'm a Patriots fan growing up. I love Tom Brady, best football player of all time. Some people say the best. I call him the greatest.
He'd a goat.
Exactly. But his second greatest tight end, Aaron Hernandez, I think they're making the one about him because it's very like, I don't know, TV friendly, if you will. Like it's supposed to like get you riled up type of thing.
Yep. I don't know if it's those same dudes, but there's a definitely like that style show coming out about Aaron Hernandez.
That was a wild story too, man.
I've seen like 4 docs about that.
High profile. Like, fuck.
I know. He's a killer.
Yeah.
He was
Off
a
the
wild
field.
boy back in the day, apparently. Like hardcore gang shit and stuff they said behind the scenes. I guess a bunch of red flags. He was going into Florida and then
And hardcore gay, apparently.
Yeah. It was more like, just, I don't know. I definitely watched like 3 documentaries about that shit and like the shit that fucking all went down when he was at Florida and everything. Like, it wasn't really like doing gang shit. He was just like fucking out of control just with his fucking homies and that football team and like just,
I think he had some ties, man.
he might have, but I mean the guys that fucking killed those people, they were just like his buddies with him and stuff. Like, it was fucking weird. It's a real weird story.
I mean, I remember, so I used to be an instructor for inline skating. I taught inline skating for about 10 years.
Oh, yeah? That's cool.
And I was at Michigan State because I do it through 4-H. I was in 4-H for a lot of years, and all the kids from Michigan come straight to Michigan State for a few days. Yeah. And I remember that headline came up, and I was like, man, will he be ready by week 1?
What's that going to do to the offense this year?
I love our double tight end formations.
Yeah, that was a super fucked up story. And then like after he killed himself in prison or whatever, he was like the worst case of that CTE ever or whatever, that brain shit. Yeah. So crazy.
But it also was kind of looked at as heroic when he did it. Heroic, strong word. And it was all about the fact that with his sentencing, they couldn't exactly finish it. So all that money would be going to his daughter, his kid.
I forgot about all
So it was like,
you
know, he like did the checker move there. Okay, I'm going with chess. Chess sounds way better. Checkers is my game. Chess is someone else's.
Yeah, there was some weird thing too that they thought that like the prisoners thought that like if you died in care of the prison that your family would get some kind of huge check or something. Like that was like some like crazy like thing all these prisoners thought, but it wasn't at all true. There was like some weird shit. I can't remember all the details, obviously, you know, but like who the fuck knows what was going through that guy's brain, you know, like or what wasn't, you know.
What wasn't? I think that's what I would go with instead.
Yeah, he's a fucking interesting character.
I mean, when it comes to football nowadays, I feel like we have so many interesting characters that are off the field and on the field as well. But like some of my favorite players in the past, because the Patriots they're not really exciting organization. Yeah. Like Gronk is the only one we ever let be himself. Yeah. Like you come to the Patriots, you have to be the Patriot way, if you will.
Shed your personality at the door.
Exactly. Sure. And a lot of people that come into it, like the current head coach, unfortunately, I don't like when players become coaches sometimes. He's trying to change that mentality. He wants people to have fun again. I'm like, no, man, football is about fun, but it's also about winning.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because it's such like a militaristic thing, right? Like it's the biggest number of people on a team in any pro sport, right? Like it's 53 guys or whatever it is. You got a shitload of guys. You got to keep them all in line. It's more orchestrated than anything, like compared to basketball or hockey or whatever. And you got more players on the field, so you kind of need that control, I guess. But I don't know.
I mean, I think football needs a different like level of IQ, and a lot of people get upset by that. Like when the whole Michigan sign stealing situation was happening, which is they just made a documentary about that on Netflix now. And I was explaining to patients, I was like, yeah, this is kind of unfortunate now. Teams going forward. Like, why can't they just change the week before? And I was like, there's a kind of a system in place, and you can't just make that sudden change, you know? Yeah. It's like playing cards, but I'm showing you my hand the whole time.
Right. So. Well, then it was so ridiculous because people were so up in arms, and of course all the Michigan fans we're in the little bubble here where everybody loves them, and it's like, oh, they're taking the champion, you know, all this stuff. It's like, dude, they know the fucking plays they're gonna run before they run them. Like, how can you contend this is not the biggest advantage? Like,
as a Patriot fan, we are professionals at cheating. Deflate gate, spy
long
gate,
lineage of shirking the rules.
I mean, rules are created to stop us, and we still got all those rings. So I'm okay in the end of the day. And now
scoreboard at the end of the day, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. As you can tell, I don't know a goddamn thing about football.
I was watching there. I was like, I think he's not into football.
Nope, not at all. I did just watch. I could bring it back to this. So I just watched a fucking another killer documentary thing about the fucking, and I'm sure you guys can tell me his name because I'm gonna forget it. But the QB for the Titans that got killed.
Steve McNair.
Yes,
McNair.
yes, legend.
Yep, that whole thing, and they go through that whole thing about how they moved the team to Nashville and whatever in that first season, and how it was like fucking huge and all this shit, and then like, you know, obviously he was retired for 10 years or whatever, but that fucking shit, crazy shit happened. He was like dating this fucking like really young girl, and like she was fucking off her rocker basically is what it was, and you know, he was like obviously fucking fooling around with all kinds of ladies and shit, and like
as one does with much money.
You know, and fucking I don't know, I forget now, but yeah, she fucking killed him and then killed herself. And like we were trying to figure out what the fuck actually happened, if like, because there was this fucking dude she bought the gun from and all this shit. It's a wild ass story, as you can expect.
The old Chris Benoit.
Yeah, yep. Crazy times, man. I watch probably too much fucking crime shit. Not watching football, I'm watching the documentaries about these fucking
that they make
these crazy ass motherfuckers. I mean, even OJ, dude. Do you think like they didn't really know about like CTE and shit back then, dude? But how many fucking hits that guy take through the fucking years? Dude?
I think he was too early on the game for it. I don't know.
They weren't hitting as hard back then or something, or
I think he didn't play long enough a career for it. Okay. That's what I think. And
well, I mean, fucking what's his face there? I mean, he didn't play that long in the Patriots, right?
Hernandez. Yeah. Well, he wasn't right earlier on though, much earlier on for him.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff, like the damage is almost done a lot of times before you get to the pros. Like, yeah, it's additional hits then, but it's all the fucking peewee in high school and college. You know, it's just an accumulation of shots to the brain, and the brain is not built to take a bunch of fucking violent hits like that. And plus, like, people in that sport are inherently wired differently, right?
Correct.
Like, it's a violent ass sport. You're out there, you know, butting fucking heads like a mountain goat or some shit.
So you
like,
already
this
got
is a
that
different breed of cat to begin with.
You're kind of a violent person, maybe a little bit already or something.
Yeah, when you're kind of just, it becomes a more of a environment that you're constantly in, so you're kind of wired a bit differently. Neil Brennan had a good joke about it a while back about Ray Rice situation. He was just like, people are mad about Ray Rice. Ray Rice just footballed at the wrong time, you know?
That's a good line.
And so I definitely see what you mean, because especially growing up, I wish they would have statistics based around positionals, what position you play. And because, you know, based on position you play, you take different types of hits, and then running backs would, you know, I think be accelerated in that, where they're going to have that issue a lot further. Who else? I think Brett Favre just came out recently, like within the last 2 days. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's. My ESPN alert said he received Parkinson's. I was like, okay, good one, ESPN.
He was gifted Parkinson's.
But I felt like he only came out to say that just because he was like, anytime you see him shaking, it's not because of the guilt he feels from stealing from all of Mississippi.
He was just embroiled in that fucking controversy a few years ago or whatever and all that shit. So these guys are all fucking...
Well, plus you get the component of it too, where these guys are fucking rock stars from the time they're like 10 years old, right? Like they're looked up to like gods, and they get away with murder.
They knew he was going to be a fucking superstar, when he was 10 years old.
I mean, it's big business. It's like anything else, right? Like there's a lot of money at stake. And if there's money to be made, like people are going to color outside the lines a little bit, and like, this dude's a little bit sketchy. But you know, 100 yards a game, 12 touchdowns. Come on now.
Indeed.
Come on. He can. I mean, if you play so well, we'll let you kill a guy. Ray Lewis. Like,
oh well, let's just roll for a little bit. Okay, which one is that just going to be on us the whole time? That's fine. I mean, that's really all the people want to see is Shayman's disgusting feet.
As long as these bare ass feet or something.
We'll take a break in a little bit anyway to fucking get another drink going. So,
I like the way you think.
Tell me about the fucking inline skating thing you were talking about a little bit, though. What's that about?
So I got into roller skating a while back when I was like 8. And so I was, you know, you go to the roller skating rink every like Friday, Saturday. It's a good time, be with everybody. And I wanted to get a little better. So at first I started inlines, and then I went to quads. And I started getting better, started jam skating. I would go down to Mississippi, do some trucking because half my mom and my brother and stepdad, they live in Mississippi. So I grew up halfway between Mississippi and Michigan.
Okay.
So constantly got better and better at skating, entered some competitions with like speed racing around, whatnot. So then that skill level, we had Winterfest, and I took home, a bronze, a silver, and 2 golds. Then I stopped worrying about it.
Though. Yeah. Is that what it really is?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was like, I don't know, dance.
No,
or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd be interested in that though as well. So rhythmic jam skating, trucking down south, getting into the speed skating as well. But then when it came to, I wanted to bring skating to the kids. I wanted to get back into inline skating because I was like, man, this would be a really cool thing to also have at Michigan State. Bunch of kids love it, especially the Yoopers, because they're already really talented ice skaters at that point.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So I brought that after I finished up at 4-H. 4-H, a lot of people, it's weird for me being in it. Like I showed steer. That doesn't seem like a thing I would do, but it was weird.
Okay.
I'm not used to animals, but
yeah.
So then I brought that and we started teaching kids how to inline skate outside. We would skate all throughout the campus of Michigan State.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
When they like in the actual races, is it flat or is it like the sloped bowl deal?
Circle.
Okay.
Circle. So that's street skating. And street skating with like on a half pipe, it's all right.
Not the half. I thought
you're talking about the bowl.
There's like the,
it goes
bank
up like
type
the
thing where it's like that.
Like they do in what's the thing where the
There's
fucking
the bicycle one that they do like that in the Olympics
BMX.
with the.
No, what's the one? Where's the one where all the they roller skates, all the ladies, and they beat the hell out of each other?
Roller derby. Roller derby. And it's only like a women thing. They don't have a guy version of that.
Yeah, there should be. That's what you should start at Michigan State. Dude.
No, they had
a bunch of kids.
That sport seems inherently dangerous, man. You're flying around on wheels. I don't know how people aren't busting arms and necks and shit all the time doing that. That's gotta
wild.
be punishing.
I have so many injuries from skating. I
bet.
dislocated an elbow. I broke my wrist, had to get surgery on it. I broke a couple fingers, and my worst one, I was 16. I was skating down. So Muskegon, you guys familiar with Jackson Hill at all?
No, not particularly.
Okay, so there's like Jackson Hill. It's like the Smith Horizon Center. It's like Wood Street. And so I was skating down that hill. There was a truck behind me. And I'm like, man, I got to get out of this truck's way. So I swing out to the left. The truck's trying to get out of my way. It goes to the left. Next thing you know, it's just black. I wake up. Paramedics are around me. Everybody's around me. And they're like, I'm like, what's happened? You were hit. You were hit by a truck.
Shit, literally hit by a fucking truck. My end of my skateboarding career was in the 7th grade. He and I went to the fucking playground, and I went down. I was trying to do a trick. I went down the slide on the skateboard, but I didn't go down the slide. What I did was went about a foot, then went over the edge of the slide and went down like this and broke my arm. And that was the end of my.
In fairness, the trick with success was like, watch me make one arm into 2. Nailed it.
That was the fucking end of that.
That's good work.
So.
Yeah. Did you ever get back into it, or was that literally the end? That was the end.
Snowboarding a little bit later. Then I got into playing the guitar and shit, and I was like, that's way more. That's way more for me, dude. I'm not gonna break my shit doing that.
Man, snowboarding was something I thought I wanted to get into as well, just because I thought it would look fun. No talent for it whatsoever.
Overrated. It's cold. You fall on your ass.
It's a goddamn blast. And once you get, it's the classic riding a bike, man. Once you get it and figure it out, it's like, oh, okay. Because everybody struggles at first, and it's a weird thing. Because you feel like you got to move the front of the board.
Yeah.
But it's the opposite. Like you got to have the weight on the back and then swing the back foot like rudder style. Once you get the feel for it, it's super easy. But until then, you're just fucking fumbling around out there. And
it's falling on my ass for like 2 seasons.
Oh, the spills you take are brutal too, man. You catch that back edge and just smash the head like bad news.
Someone, I think one person told me something else that happened to them, and that's what I think cut me off from snowboarding. They kept falling on their butt so much and bruising it, where they slowly a cyst formed. Oh, so then he had to get it removed, and then he had to wear a donut. It wasn't that fun. I laughed, and
for sure.
But I want to try. Is skiing at least easier?
Skiing's making a comeback. It's like everybody's skiing now and not snow. It seems like everybody that I know that does anything like that, it's like, hey, no, we're skiing.
I only ever really skied twice, and I went French fry style straight down as fast as I could. No idea how to turn. Just like, I hope nobody gets in my way. Yeah. It's gonna be.
I wish I'd have tried that because I think maybe I'd have been a little more successful at that. But it was just like at that time, snowboarding was like the thing. You know what I mean?
Man, it's always been cooler. So,
for sure. Yeah.
Like I tried to skateboard, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I tried to longboard.
Same.
It didn't go that great.
Yeah, I was like, it was not for me. I figured out how to play the guitar and play the drums, and I was like, I think this is maybe my thing. I'm good.
Yeah, I always try to find like my hobbies have always been kind of outdoory, you know. Like comedy is my first time where I'm like, I'm like not burning calories, kind of. I'm actually gaining calories. I'm drinking
and eating shitty French fries.
Yeah,
and shit.
I do love my shitty French fries.
Indeed. All right, well, let's take a break, get in the drink, and maybe we can fucking see if we can fix these cameras up a little bit here.
Sounds good.
Are you guys familiar with the software called Salesforce?
Not at all.
You know what it is? Salesforce is the biggest CRM software in the world, basically. Customer management software, whatever. It's just, clients, whatever. They have this enormous conference once a year called Dreamforce. Ew. And at said conference, they usually hire a comedian to come in and entertain. Mm-hmm. And there's approximately 50,000 or so people that attend this conference. It's over a week in San Francisco.
A little better than open mic.
John Mulaney did it this year. Ooh. And he fucking roasted these people, like not in like a fun cheeky way.
That's hilarious.
Let's see if our producer over here can pull this up for me a little bit.
Your life is in a complete sham way. You do nothing to contribute to society.
Pretty much. All right, so some of these quotes here.
It's got a real Brad Pitt thing going on these days.
That flow is nice.
He said, let's scroll down just a little bit there. He said, okay.
I'm sorry, it's not working.
There you go. Now just scroll down with the scroll bar, with the scroll on your mouse. Our normal producer is dying right now, so.
I'm sorry, it won't let me do it on this.
Okay, well, he just even this top quote. He says, "Let me get this straight. You're hosting the future of AI events in a city that has failed humanity."
Oh God!
He goes, "You look like a group who what does it say? Who looked at the self-checkout counters at CVS and thought this is the future." If AI is truly smarter than us and tells us what humans should die, then I think we should die. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of fucking shit in here, but it was like people were like not laughing. It was like groaning, like just like holy shit.
Good for him.
And they have video of this?
Yeah, it's like
I'm gonna watch this later. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The funniest shit here is it keeps going. Some of the vaguest language ever devised has been used here in the last 3 days. The fact that there are 45,000 trailblazers here couldn't devalue the title anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Mulaney coming hard, son.
Man. He goes off about the world they're creating for his son, where we'll never talk to an actual human again. It was brutal. He really went hard.
Oh my God.
Got his check.
That's hilarious. Dude, those corporate gigs you hear are universally hell. Everybody's just like, it's the worst thing ever because it's a professional setting. So everybody's scared to laugh at anything because you might laugh at the wrong thing. And it's supposed to just be the worst thing in the world. So for him to go in there and just say, fuck you guys, I'm going off. I got that John Mulaney money. I'm all set here.
He said some shit about like, can AI sit here in a sweater vest at this thing? So just like really roasting people. Yeah, it was like all in the San Francisco Tribune or whatever the big paper is there. And shit, like, it was like kind of like.
Did they let him finish the set?
Oh, yeah, he did his whole fucking thing.
What did he do? Like an hour 40 or?
I don't know. I don't know how long he was. But like people were just like, oh, like it did not go well, and he did not give a fuck.
I bet they were loving the first 5 minutes. They were like, this is fun. This is cool. I understand they make fun of us. And then like the next 50 that followed after that.
It's just getting uncomfortable.
Oh, man.
So props to fucking John. I really don't know that much about John Mulaney or his, like, I don't know if I've ever watched any specials or anything, but props to that.
Baby J, was his most recent one, and that was my favorite special. Like, was a New Kid in Town or New Kid in Town, and that was classic. Like, that's a classic one he has. But Baby J was different. It was just like it was more of him talking about the troubles, the addiction. Like, he has a long bit that he goes into where he describes he went and bought a watch on a credit card, like a Rolex, and then went to a pawn shop to sell it to turn it into cash.
Yeah.
And like, I think the difference was like $12,000 for Rolex, $6,000 cash, just to get more drugs. Yeah. And in the end, he's like, and if I'm willing to tell you this story, you can't imagine the stories I'm not willing to tell you.
Right.
Because I think he was kind of like the golden boy, clean cut, wear the suit deal for a long time. And then all the stuff came out about that. It's like John Mulaney's in a rehab because it was like a real bad coke habit, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was big on the snow. You know?
I mean, if you're going to wear a suit all the time, you know, it's kind of like... It's kind of the deal.
I mean, I think just with clean comics across the board at this point, if someone's clean all the time, no matter what, there's something dark back there.
Somewhere else. Is he a clean comic, like generally speaking?
No.
Okay.
But I just think people that are, you know, the more darkness you show on stage, probably the nicer person you are.
Right. That's how you're getting it out or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's a thing across the board. Like, not even just comedy, you know, like so many of these people that want to give you the picture, you know, picturesque, perfect view or whatever. It's like, you got some dark shit hiding in the
fucking
covers.
Menendez brothers, man.
Yeah.
Fucking Dave Grohl, the nice guy, rock and roll. You know, it turns out he's fucking doing all this crazy shit. Yeah.
There was a comic, and he was a clean comic also. I wish I could remember his name. And he was going around murdering people. And the only way they could figure it out and sync up the murders was following his tour dates.
Oh, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
He kept telling people, I'm killing tonight. It's like so obvious, you know. Like,
gonna murder on and off the stage.
I've been telling everybody, no, I'm killing.
Oh my gosh.
Damn, dude.
That was the comedy thing going, dude, I am killing out there, man.
And in here.
Indeed.
Speaking of dark, you know what I just watched? Have you guys heard of that Civil War movie?
I know what it is. I'm not watching that shit.
Oh, yeah. Captain America, crazy guy. Captain America was a crazy guy in that one.
Is that what it is?
No, that's Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
No, this movie rules. It's Alex Garland, that guy that did Ex Machina and a bunch of other stuff. Another A24 flick. But it's like shockingly realistic. And this is the depiction of like... a near, not even in the future, but it's like, hey, this is when America starts to rip itself apart, which doesn't feel that far off.
Yeah.
What two states was it that rebelled, that no longer were part of the United States? It was California and what, Texas or Florida?
Florida and California.
It was Florida and California.
Yeah.
Come on. If anybody's really going to break off, it's going to be Florida.
Yeah.
They're their own little fucking dick thing
Some wild
down there. They can
boys
just
down
break
there.
off, dude. Yeah. Bunch of fucking chuckleheads down
But
there.
California, we kind of want them. I mean, I know we talk about like how they're hippies and maybe useless because they're eventually just based on tectonic plates, eventually going to break away. But
see, there you go. They're gonna start their own break-off civilization, just floating out there. California, like I give people shit because I know a lot of people that are fucking like super hardcore, like conservative, like fuck California, and I'm like, you're saying fuck California on your iPhone right now.
Yeah,
fucking idiot. You know, like
good old child labor.
Yeah. I'm just like, and California's like. It's like 40% of America's total GDP or whatever. It's like preposterously huge because it's the fucking film industry and the tech industry, you know. And it's like, so I don't know. This whole like idea, I always just find it very fucking humorous. That like, and it's also like California is a huge place. There's people of every possible walk of life there. Northern California is not Los Angeles, you know. It's like crazy meth heads growing shit, you know. It's like so different. So like. Fuck California, really, dude, really, you know.
Having said all that,
California
for sure. Seems like a pretty reasonable take when you get it down to.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just taking one direction here and arguing it for fun.
So your listeners in California, how do they feel about this?
Indeed. Well, I got a call.
It's gonna be a problem for the sponsors out there for sure.
Gavin Newsom's calling in, dude. Whatever. He's still a governor out there or whatever, right?
I got to imagine so, as far as I know.
Not Arnold?
It should be Arnold. We need Arnold back, dude.
Speaking of documentaries, man,
that was
that
a good
Arnold documentary was a
yeah.
fucking banger too. It was super interesting. He was like one of the better governors California had, apparently,
He's
by the
pretty
way
good
they
at it.
portrayed it, at least. It kind of.
It's his documentary that was like, make sure you show me in a glowing light this entire time. You know, I did nothing but good.
Yes. There's a few of those. I feel like we're gonna get in another 20 years. I think there's a documentary coming right now on Trump already.
Oh, I'm sure there's. I mean, how many books? and
Shock,
shit?
there haven't been more of them
Already?
Not till and like interestingly, he was just in town today. Trump did a huge,
Walker.
speech here in Walker today. So, yeah.
I mean, we're a swing state. I understand everybody's going to be doing their due diligence.
Yeah, we've had in the last 2 weeks, we've had literally all of them. I think Vance,
Kid Rock.
yeah,
Kid Rock, man.
Kid Rock was speaking. Ted Nugent was speaking.
It's weird.
Yeah, no,
Some of the state's finest, when you get right down
Vance
to
and Harris and Walz and Trump. I think all four of them have been.
And
in
Tucker.
Michigan.
Tucker was there with Kid Rock.
Indeed.
Tucker Carlson. He's doing
would've been a
comedy
party.
now. It's weird.
Really? Is he like doing jokes and shit now?
Supposedly.
He was like hanging out at the mothership down there, and like was on Kill Tony and shit. And
he's
like,
doing comedy. He's just unaware that he's doing comedy.
He's
Is a thing,
unintentional comedy.
Oh man, it's weird. I think comedy has right now everyone can agree comedy has never been bigger. Like we're in a boom. It's very popular.
Yeah,
Ticket sales are ridiculous. Everybody's getting chances. Everybody wants to do a comedy show. Like even we have Pulaski Days next weekend.
Yeah.
And 100 Miles, great comic.
Yeah.
He's doing shows at one of the halls. I'm just like, wow, that's a first. They never get involved in that, but everybody wants it.
Pollock jokes, dude.
Oh no!
If he's smart, dude, he's just coming with nothing but the old school, ultra fucking racist Pollock jokes.
Play the hits,
Play the hits.
When we were like, I don't know, that was like a thing, dude. The Pollock joke, like it's so dumb. Like,
Oh man.
we should at some point we should look them up. Like they got to be pretty fucking bad. Like
I kind of want to see him now at this point.
Indeed.
Who are you guys? Is one of you guys' favorite comics?
Oh man, I really like Bill Burr. As far as like guys that are kind of relevant now. I mean, there's all the classics and everything.
You can shoot me one classic while you're at it too. I'm always interested.
Boy, that's a good one. I mean, fucking Carlin.
Oh yeah,
that's the shit. The fucking. It's always fun to go back and watch the fucking Eddie Murphy specials, like throwing that shit on later.
Raw, delirious.
Yeah, those
I'm not a Carlin expert by any means. I caught a little bit of Carlin, a little overrated,
It's a
little preachy
it's a
for my
different time.
taste. Like, I don't
Super
need a,
preachy.
I don't need a big
Yeah.
lesson about shit.
I think when we say preachy, I always think of style, and I think Sam Kinison. I really did not like Lindsay. Literally a preacher.
Yeah. That's a different sort of preacher, right? Yeah. That's literally doing like crackhead, like it's like a church. What do you call it? Like a pastor? He's like a
Southern pastor, dude. It's
guy,
so
right?
bad.
Yeah, it's crazy because that's what he literally was.
Yeah.
And then he just turned to that, and then he just started kind of like trying to make that funny. It's weird. It's a bizarre thing, but that never clicked with me because I was never a fan of that.
I'm all about like give me some more of the dry guys, man. I don't know if you know like Sam Morril. I'm a big fan of him.
I love Sam
Mike
Morril.
Vecchione,
Thoroughly enjoy.
Very funny.
Yes.
Gary Gulman, who I've been preaching for just a little bit here. I caught a special at the end of last year. It was like one of the funniest specials I've ever seen. But you got the Burrs, Chris Rock, Chappelle, some of those dudes, obviously. But
favorite Chappelle, he's one of my favorite comedy specials. So is Killing Him Softly, 1999.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna hold for me.
That's a classic one.
Yeah, I don't really remember that. I didn't love. What do you think of Chappelle's new specials? Like, I haven't loved them. We really talked about them a lot on here when they were coming out.
I liked probably the first. I loved the first two that came out because he did the back-to-back ones, and then he did everything after that. I was like, oh, okay, this is okay. And then I want to say the last one, I think he's just so big, it's hard. He's not working it out as much, or he's just he's Dave Chappelle, so the laughs just come. Like, that's the best part.
That's been my argument about is just felt to me like there's just like everybody's like concentrating on like this like, oh, he's anti-trans and it's controversial and blah blah blah, and I'm just sitting here going, I'm just not hearing the jokes.
That's
really
what it
what it
was.
comes down to me. And then like he calls himself the GOAT in one of those specials, and to me, I'm just kind of like,
but he is.
I know, but it's kind of lame to call yourself that, and it's like, are you
can't be a self-appointed GOAT?
Yeah, self-appointed GOAT.
I mean,
that'd be a good T-shirt.
I think it would be a good T-shirt. Like people like Jordan, like athletes can do it. Like Jordan can do it.
Yeah. It's I guess the difference is too, like Jordan, it's undeniable because you got stats.
Proofs in the pudding, baby.
You know,
It's
with
in the
like
pudding.
comedy is totally subjective. So like, I mean, I guess the only stats is how many tickets you sold. You
Money. He's crossed off murdering in the film industry with his like half-baked film. He's killed in the sense of TV. He's killed with comedy specials.
But so's
I don't know.
Chris Rock. So's I mean, fucking. Robin Williams, you know, like, I mean,
Rob Williams I don't think his comedy was funny.
Well,
it's so cringe, and I'm sorry, whoever feels away after this.
It's too much, man. He's bouncing around like, just give me jokes.
I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at like checking those boxes, you know, there's a lot of guys who've checked all those boxes.
I would contend for anything. Maybe I'm getting a little bit up on my soapbox here, but for anything artistic, I don't know that you can go off of some of those metrics, right?
Exactly.
Like the most popular, like Creed and Nickelback were super popular.
Yeah.
They're also dog shit bands, you know, like. I think for me at least, and maybe it's just my taste, but some of the funniest shit's on the fringe, right? Like when you have these people that are so big, it really doesn't mean anything more than it's just like a broad type of thing that applies to everybody, which
100%.
By one definition, I guess you could argue is
they got
the funniest
backing,
if it appeals to the most people.
Business
But
sense, like, you know, there's all these things that
marketing machine behind it, name recognition, all that.
And I think that's when we get into different like ways of describing it. Like the most successful comedian of all time is arguably Kevin Hart at this point because he's in an area that do I find his newer stuff funny? But no, not exactly because it's not for me though. I'm not his target audience anymore because he has a family and the masses that he's trying to appeal to. Someone like Sam Rill, I love his stuff. I love honestly probably his older stuff even more. Like I like First Class, Positive Influence, I Got This. I don't really I didn't care as much. His Netflix one was good, it just wasn't my favorite. And then his most recent album it was good, but it wasn't my favorite.
That's how I felt about it.
I haven't seen the newest one yet. I've heard great things,
but it's totally worth watching. It's fun, you know, it's totally fine, dude. Throw it on. There's totally hilarious shit in there, but like, it didn't like kind of kick my ass. Like it was a little more like story driven with a little less like punchlines or something, and that's fine. You know, like, you know, people can go those routes, but I don't know. That to me was like with the Chappelle thing. It was just I just kind of kept feeling like with every one of these, it's just like less and less actual jokes, and I'm just like my argument's always just kind of been like, I want to hear your perspectives, dude, but like do that on your podcast. Do that on write a book. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to your actual comedy, like you got to be coming with the comedy on your comedy special, you know.
Someone like him though, he won't do that. He will just sit somewhere in a crowd and he'll just go cuz what was it when I'm trying to think, he did a brief, I think it was just 19 minutes. He just posted of him like on a stage and he just shared his thoughts and it was barely a joke in there. And this was around Black Lives Matter centered movement and I'm trying to think what murder exactly at that time.
That was kind of when he was like sort of like, well, yeah, they were doing all those kind of like pop-up shows and all that and whatever, right? It was one of those kind of like, he used to like go to the park with a little speaker and just like start talking. Like, I think Dave Chappelle, they're like, is this a homeless guy over here? Or is that Dave Chappelle? You know,
he's pretty funny though. Dude. I think I might sit there and watch.
Dude, like, this homeless guy's fucking killing right now. Who is this guy?
I think comedy has to change in the sense of like the measurements, like you said, because we're in different time periods of time. So you can't measure someone in the past of saying that they're the greatest because they didn't have those same opportunities. Because in the past it used to be, oh, I want a TV show. Oh, I need to be on this night show, get my own night show of some kind.
And only certain people got specials. Where now, like essentially every comedian can like. You can release your own special just on YouTube. You know,
everybody.
They call them a special, and it's like that name just kind of stuck. But it's just kind of like it's like your record. It's like the music business. You know, it's just like that's your new record or whatever.
The receipt of that I made these jokes, and these jokes work. Because in the end, it's like I don't know. I think I sit there and I think I don't want to do like a video special. I just want to do like a record, like an album.
Yeah.
Maybe when I hit like year 7.
I think those are going to come back. Like,
I hope.
Yeah. I think it already is. I think some guys are already kind of playing around with that. Like
my contention for a while has been like, if you can make a banger of an album that makes somebody laugh, like it's vastly more impressive than being on stage and or than like a visual thing, right? Because if you don't have that component of, hey, I'm Robin Williams, I'm doing the wacky guy thing. It's just the jokes and it's just the writing, you know, which to me is like more impressive for some of that stuff.
I guess you could say that about music too in that sense. I never really thought about that. Like if the actual like record, because you're not watching them perform.
Well, case in point, think about when all the MTV stuff came around, like you get that visual element incorporated with it. And it almost became more important to make a sweet video than it was to make a good song. It's true. You know,
I think for some people, and because there are those people that are more performers than actual joke writers, and nothing against them, it's just that's their craft.
That's the thing,
I am a very low energy. I just learned probably within the last year of adding movements to certain jokes, and I learned, whoa, this is like,
you got one
adds
hand,
more to it.
One little hand thing.
Oh, dude, it's barely anything. I think I yawn before I go on stage most times, and the next thing you know, they're like Darius yawned, you about to go kill it. I was like, dude, I don't know. I'm just wanting to do this, go home, make people laugh.
Dude, but I dig that too, and it is a style, you know. But it's like somebody like Theo Von, like he's very funny to me on podcasts and shit. But like his stand up is he's just like, he literally just goes out there and runs around, and I'm just kind of like, all right, you know, like. But we've talked about this quite a bit. Is that nowadays there's comedians that are like more popular or like better at doing podcasts and like impromptu, like that's their actual bread and butter, and the actual on stage performing is almost like secondary now. Which you know, it used to be, obviously it should be, or whatever, the other way around, but it's an interesting thing now.
But then also other people have their other specialties where it's so weird. And did you guys see the roast of Tom Brady at all?
I just saw a few clips. I watched
Nikki Glaser.
I watched a little of that. And was that the one? Was Tony Hinchcliffe on there?
He was on it as well.
I think he was getting a lot of press on that.
So I would say if we had to rank it, he did the second best.
Okay.
Nikki stole the show.
Nice.
And Nikki blew up, and she's been like a comic for so long, and all the roasts, and she's known as like usually one of the top roasters.
That's funny because I've always thought of her for a long time as being big,
and now she just blew up after that happened. Live performance separated, because it's like when you watch a different roast, you watch people that aren't comedians go up, you're like, okay, this looks kind of even, but that live roast, you could tell, like, oh, this is unedited. They're stumbling over their words. It's tough. Her execution, her speed, it was amazing to watch.
Well, and I think the other component of that is like you've got the potential to bring in such a broader audience than you otherwise would have, right? In other words, like there are people that know comedy, actively seek out comedy, etc. So you can get big in that circle. But when somebody sees the roast thing, which is in and of itself a different animal than just pure stand-up, and oh, by the way, it's Tom Brady, like arguably the biggest and most famous athlete, so
the greatest quarterback of all time.
All these people, and it pains me to say it. Pains me to say it.
What did we just say? The self-appointed goat.
Self-appointed
goat. He doesn't do it yet. He needs to,
I'm
though.
Just kidding around, but that would be that'd be super fucking funny to have him on a t-shirt, or you know.
I do. He's on my Snuggie. Oh yeah.
It's the warm embrace of Tom Brady.
Oh, come on, man. Some people call him Jesus. I don't know.
You mentioned Neil Brennan earlier. You a fan of Neil Brennan?
I'm a big fan of his podcast. I like his first 2 specials. Like Three Mics is one of my favorite specials of all time.
Yeah. That was a crazy one.
But then after that, Blocks, I couldn't get on board. Yeah, it was so tough. You got to do unique stuff. I get it.
He's got a new one where he doesn't do any of that shit, and I like that one better.
Then Three Mics as well?
No, maybe not, because that one's like, that's kind of like a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a very unique which is cool. That like, you know, so that's like a unique comedy. So his newest one was just more just like a standard comedy special, and he even kind of like mocked on himself a little bit in the beginning of like, I forget what he said, you know, like he's like, yeah, my mental health is way better now or something. So he's just like, I liked it.
I'm happy, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like just kind of breaking his own balls about his previous specials or whatever.
Oh man, I'll give it a shot. I think he was probably the first white comic I watched say the N-word, and I was like, huh, it worked. It worked.
Bold move.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, he said bold move. I thought he said old move. I was like, you're right. Very old move, actually.
From Cal A, from Cal B.
Yeah, for sure.
Neil Brennan's a funny cat, but it always just sticks in my craw. Like, we get it, you're depressed, and you used to write for Chappelle. Like,
Yeah,
that's
he throws that way too often sometimes.
Like, God damn it, dude, just be funny. Like, you're a funny guy.
Yeah.
You don't got to use these two crutches.
It's like a
this
flag
big
every
comedy.
time. He's just like,
it is.
Rowan Chappelle show.
I agree.
Co-writer.
Yeah, we get it, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
Chappelle's show, it's hard to, like, people don't even know anymore how fucking huge that show was.
You're right.
Like, it was unbelievably huge. Those, like, 2 seasons, and it's still some of the funniest shit that's ever been made. So, to be fair, you know, like, I get it, and he did write a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they came up with it together and whatever, so, like, but you're right. It's a little bit douchey. It's kind of like saying you're the GOAT. You know,
If I were in
self-appointed
either position,
goat.
I'm squeezing every drop out of that orange, baby. And if I were that good at anything, you better believe I'd be walking around letting every motherfucker know exactly that. Like, yeah, I'm much better at this than everybody else.
You're right. And then also at the same time, you got to look at it where people, you know, they get their biggest credit. They flaunt it around. There's some comics I know that don't do it at all, which I'm surprised because I'm like, wow, if I did that, I would tell everybody. But some comics, most comics, they just flaunt like their top people, their top credits. Oh, I performed there. I opened for this person. I hung out with this person. So, you know, I get it.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, he's I guess you could say he's famous in his own right now. You know,
100%.
So, which is sweet. So, but you remind me a little bit of him, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the bone structure?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I mean, like,
In the face?
He's kind of a well-dressed dude. You're a well-dressed dude. He's like,
Neil Brennan?
I think so. He's a kind of a classy fellow, I think.
I'll take it.
Well-spoken. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, you know, but yeah, a little bit. The glasses. He's got the glasses, right?
He does.
Yeah. Yours are clear, though.
Oh, I had to find a style. I tried wearing glasses one time and I was like, I hate how these look at my face. This is doing the opposite of attracting people.
Yeah, man. I got LASIK.
Really?
Dude, yeah. Love it. I do not regret it at all.
And they both were successful.
I had a little bit of issue with my left eye, and but it was fine after a little bit, you know, or whatever. So if you can do it, I recommend it. It's worth it.
It's there, but it's just, I think at the same time, I'm very happy with how I look in glasses, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
I fell in love with that look, and then I was like, oh, we can do this. But when I golf, and that's the only time I wish I didn't have to wear glasses.
Oh, I can't even wear sunglasses when I golf.
Really?
Just that little bit, because there's that marginally different perspective out of the corner of your eye. And it's just enough to get in your head, and it fucks my world up.
Yeah.
So wearing actual glasses, which I guess I did for 1 year in high school when I played, that's got to be tough sledding, dude.
It's getting better. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's one of the golf's the sport you never just say, oh yeah, I'm good. You just say, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting worse.
Everybody's just different degrees of terrible at golf. Nobody's actually good at golf.
No, except Tiger Woods. So good that he could do everyone. Yes.
Let's go, Jerry. Go.
Yeah, man. He's not done so well recently, though.
No.
I think he kind of crapped out at the last Masters here. He kind of came back a
Well,
little bit
age and injury.
Injuries.
So much injury.
What
Got
is he,
in a car
46,
accident.
47? And he's always had stuff because he had such a fucking violent swing, man. Like, he
Yeah.
always had knee and back problems, and then the car stuff and the mental game.
It doesn't make sense physically. He should not even be able to do what he's doing now because his whole lumbar spine is fused.
Yeah.
At that point, like your body, it's like you have 7 cervical vertebrae, and the first 2 really do all the work. So you have C1, which is called like Atlas. I always remember it because it's like the guy that held the planet. And then you have Access right under it, and you always think about it as something that's turning.
Vertebrae.
The goat vertebrae. Self-appointed goat. And then after that, you have just C3 through C7, and you don't really have as much.
C3PO.
C3PO?
That's my favorite vertebrae, dude.
It doesn't make as much noise. You can never understand it. And then you get to your thoracic spine. You have 12 of those, and they don't do much. So no one ever gets like a cage or a fusion or surgery in that unless you have like a traumatic injury. Lumbar, that's where all the hip movement, everything else comes back. All that his bricked up. And so he shouldn't be able to do any of this also with a rod in his leg.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive he's out there at this point.
One of the big regrets of my life was when he won the Masters most recently. Was it 5-6 years ago, whenever it was?
2019, yep.
We were doing a big project launch at work, and I had to go into the office on a fucking Sunday, and I missed Tiger Woods.
Oh, no.
Winning the goddamn Masters at 46 or 45 or whatever it was. And I guess it wasn't that old.
But it's like on TV? Like, well, you missed watching it on TV?
Oh, yeah. It was groundbreaking. It was an amazing moment.
Yeah, dude, greatest golfer of all time comes back to do it one more time, and I didn't see it. It crippled me.
Because it's last...
like, you were like there.
No.
Was it Augusta?
Man, the cashish to get into a gusted item. One of my very well-off friends go to that a few years back, but dude, it is cripplingly expensive, man.
I bet.
I'm going to make a huge statement here.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it. Let it.
I think more so than the injuries, the downfall of Tiger Woods was the loss of his aura of impenetrability. Yeah. I think he had such a psychological advantage over everybody every time he stepped onto the course. And I think golf easily is the most mental sport out there.
Yeah.
And I think when everybody else is scared shitless to play against you, that makes life a hell of a lot easier. And he had that Terminator look on his face and that look of determination, and you're not going to fucking stop me, and I'm going to own you and dominate you and take the soul out of your body. And then when everybody came at Tiger Woods for the first time after the affair stuff and the crash in the car and all that, there was the injury stuff too, but I think it was just like he had to be humble. He had to go back into his cave a little bit and be more like a more apologetic, sorry guys type Tiger.
Apologetic Tiger.
Yeah, because he was just like, suck my balls.
What is that?
Yeah,
that's just Tigger from like.
Indeed. It's not a tiger. It's just a Tigger, man.
Hey, watch out!
400 years earlier, it was an old move. I think with him, it was definitely. I agree with that wholeheartedly because you breached the cage. You know,
mental game, dude. You're right.
And also, the Perkins waitress just took all the strength out of his legs. In fairness, too, you know, the legs are crucial to golf. So.
Oh man, I think. Would you guys ever go to the Waste Management Open? It's basically just a party at this point.
I don't know what that is.
I wish we could show you clips of it.
Open. That's so
They've
funny.
got this whole, obviously, it's like because golf, it's very quiet. You don't swing, don't do anything. This is the one time where it's like socially acceptable to go buck wild.
Okay, I've seen
and
this.
They've got the stands surrounding. I think it's the 16th hole. I might be off on that. But people, it's just fucking shit-faced frat boys getting after it and cheering the whole time. It looks like an absolute blast.
It got so out of hand, they stopped serving alcohol at 1 p.m. the last Waste Management Open got so out of hand. They had videos of people, because it rained, so people were falling, sliding down in mud. You had a video of a guy just hand in face, peeing while sitting in a stool. It was so out of hand. After that, I was like, hey guys, you guys want to go?
Yeah, that's my kind of time. It's
I can't imagine how fun that'd be. Yeah, it's some Woodstock shit going on out there for sure, man.
So you guys are from Muskegon. So did you guys ever go to Electric Forest?
Weirdly, I've never actually been.
No, never been.
Really?
I wasn't living in Muskegon at the time. I mean, it's still going. Or
yeah,
whatever.
It is the biggest electronic music festival on the planet.
It's up in Rothbury.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I just never fucking
really.
I don't know what the deal is. I've only been to like a couple of like big festivals in my life.
I would check it once. That's all it is. I had friends. They split tickets. So basically, it was 4 of them. They bought 2 tickets. 2 of them go in. 2 of them go out later, and they take the wristband off.
The ticket trick. We used to do that in the movies.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You got 2 guys buy a ticket, 2 go in. The other goes out with the both tickets. Gets the other guy. Flash the ticket at the guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of the most amazing events I used to thoroughly enjoy going to, and I hate camping.
Yeah, I'm not big on camping.
This is definitely not camping at all.
When you get any of those type of things where everybody's kind of there for the same reason, and it's just we're gonna fucking cut loose for a little bit. It's like everything's on the table, psychedelic wise. Like, we're just gonna have a good time. Like, pretty tough to screw that up, you know?
I mean, the only thing that's really weird about it nowadays is the fact that back in 2019, they decided to cut down on the amount of trash that it creates. So they took it down from being 2 weekends and took it to 1 weekend. The first one, it garnered 50,000 attendees.
Yeah.
And now, thankfully they had COVID, because it allowed them 2 years to actually figure out how to do it.
Okay.
And they did 60,000 one year and then 70,000 the next year. Wow. And so now it's smooth. You're not waiting a while. It's great. You still somehow run into people you know from Grand Rapids, but you also meet someone that just came in there from United Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I didn't know it was that big of a thing where it's drawing people from like
crazy.
that.
We see it because we go up to the cabin there and we drive right by it. So like when it's those weekends, it's always like fucking nuts. You know, and you can see it all right from the fucking highway. So yeah, it's crazy shit.
The ticket though, the price got out of hand, and that's why I'm done. It's the last time. Let's see here. So in 2023, I bought my ticket, sold it. It was $600.
Holy shit!
It was $700 this year.
Damn,
and that's general
4, but
general mission. All. So that's Thursday to Sunday, and you didn't even buy your parking pass yet.
Right.
That's a big price tag. That's a hefty price tag.
Food and whatever. I mean, you bring your shit, but whatever you want to buy.
Dude, that's a whole resort somewhere else, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a week vacation more or less, or whatever. Getting there, you know. I went to Bonnaroo in 2008. I thought it was 2008 or 2009. I can't remember. I thought it was one thing, and then our friend that came on the podcast was like, "No, it was definitely."
Yeah, that was met with staunch resistance for sure.
He shut it down immediately.
I'm so bad with dates.
It's like I got the ticket stub, I got the T-shirt. I'm wearing the T-shirt.
He's like, no, I was there too. It was definitely 2009. I was like, oh, okay, well, it don't matter. But that was my one big experience, because that's one of the big world class ones, or whatever. That was fucking wild.
Was there one that you want to go to soon? Well, or within your lifetime. Let's go with that.
Burning Man, but it's also like, it seems like it's gotten kind of douchey almost, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I kind of maybe missed out on that, I guess that would really be it. I would definitely fucking go back to Bonnaroo. I fucking loved it. I mean, when I went, it was like every single band was one of my favorite bands, you know what I mean? So it was just like, and comedians, great comedians. I saw David Cross perform. I saw Lewis Black, the political guy who yells at you. I saw fucking Flight of the Conchords there. You know Flight of the Conchords?
Not at all.
Flight of the Conchords was a comedic, semi-musical duo that had a show on HBO, sort of, and they're New Zealand. It's like a New Zealand Tenacious D or something, you might say. A little wacky, but not as wacky as that, but it's way drier or whatever. But they play these stupid songs, and they had an HBO show that was very fucking funny. You should watch the HBO show.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it's a great show. I loved the HBO show.
I wanted to love it.
Funny.
Thought it by all rights I should have loved it. Couldn't get into it. I tried to rewatch it the other day. I popped the first episode on. I was like, nope, I nailed it with the show the first time.
Hold up.
It's pretty fucking funny. I like it.
What holds up to you nowadays? Something that you'd watch years ago and came back to. I'll let you think on it. I'll jump on it.
Yeah.
Blue Mountain State.
I don't know what that is.
I just started watching that.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so think of it as football, but they made it way out of hand, and it's Spike TV, and it's collegiate football.
Okay, there you go.
And so
that's why I didn't watch it.
Have you seen because the big guy does it? He did the show. What is it?
That
Reacher.
Reacher show, right?
Oh, okay.
That guy plays an idiot.
Well, yeah,
Now think an idiot. Now,
It was a big
now dumb
stretch
him
for
down.
him,
No,
really.
big stretch.
Coloring outside the lines, really broadening his horizons in that one.
That show, very far from politically correct, but it was amazing.
What eras is what year was
This is like
on?
2010.
Okay, all right.
Maybe.
Okay, I was
That might
thinking a
be
little older than that, but you
even
might be right.
2008. No,
Yeah, okay.
no, 2009. I'll say 2009. We'll fact check it later.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I just get the general era of what it was. Yeah.
You remember Spike TV Mansers? Oh, okay,
I guess I
good.
missed on it. I know.
No, you
Spike
did
TV,
well
but-
then. That's good. I'm glad.
Spike TV was kind of like sort of a spin-off of FX or something, wasn't it? Or something? Or kind of like...
It was a channel for dudes. Like, it was basically geared around, like,
Yeah.
college age
Mansers.
guys.
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
1,000 Ways to Die. That was. You seen that at least?
Yeah, I know. I think I know what that is.
Okay, that
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
pretty good. It's
I remember Spike
1,000
TV
Ways to
being a
Die.
thing, but yeah, I don't think I was really watching it.
I'm going to give you a super lame answer, token answer, but Seinfeld, man. I maintain Seinfeld's, like, literally the funniest show. I still watch it, and it's still just as funny, dude.
It's pretty funny. When I was running it back recently, it's definitely like different. It's just so of an era, and like this, it's the format of the sitcom. Well, which is weird because they were not the format of the sitcom at that time. They were the anti-format of the sitcom. Then that became the format of the sitcom because it was so successful. It's bizarre.
I just watched it 2 years ago.
Yeah, what did you think?
Oh no, it's good.
Yeah.
Season 1, it took a sec.
Yeah.
And then once I understood it, got used to it, it was great.
Once they hit in like season 2, and
Yep.
season 3,
one's a little, season one's a
yeah,
little
they were
sketchy,
definitely catching their
sketchy,
footing because they were making it up. Like nothing existed like that at the time, you know.
It's the last season. Yeah. But then everyone told me Larry David wasn't on that season.
Yeah, the last,
he didn't help
last
with that.
2 seasons, I think he was on, and there was some fucking funny shit in those last 2 seasons. But I mean, I think, and Jerry talks about it a lot. I think he definitely made the right move of calling it. You know, like they were offering him gobs of money, and he was like, I think we're done here. You know, like it's like I don't want it to get bad.
And that was back in the day too, when network shows would just go on forever. Like if they were making money, you know, Simpsons is still on the goddamn air, and it hasn't been funny for 20 years at this point.
Seriously.
So get on Seinfeld. It's like, no, I can't do it anymore. And that was such a magic formula, though, man. Him and Larry David, like, literally the two funniest human beings who have ever existed. You could argue,
even on Curb, when they're together on Curb, there's just some kind of weird fucking magic that when those two guys
the
are
type
just
of
together.
magic that can only be replicated on the couch of Dangerville.
Right now,
One of the true genius comedic duos of our generation.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, I think not many people could recreate the Kramer magic at the Laugh Factory, so I agree. I agree.
Yeah, talking about a guy fucking just like trying to be funny and doing just like, you know, like making a gigantic mistake and just fucking.
It's a tough one to live down.
Canceling himself. Now they're really kind of making an effort to like kind of get him back into like, you know, I mean, I'm not fucking excusing this behavior.
Oh no,
really, you know
100%.
what I mean? Like,
He can always get another shot though. I think.
But also like it's also to say that like he was also fucking hilarious, you know, like one of the funniest characters like ever, you know. So like it's just kind of a guy who was like, I don't know, was kind of fucking failing out, honestly.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
He's
like,
not a stand-up. I think he was actually like a classically trained actor. I might be way off base on that, but I think he's like a very serious kind of muted personality
like
in
a
real
really
life for the
serious
most
guy.
part. And I think he was trying to do comedy, and he wasn't a comic, and he's struggling and trying to get some big laugh and
going for like
an old move, some would call
it. Yes. Yeah. Just trying to go for that fucking extreme laugh. What would you call it? Like a fucking
shock value.
Shock value laugh. That's a really good
one. For
one.
the
That's
shock
perfect.
laugh, and you know, it's obviously not funny.
It's
you know?
so tough when I see a comic rely on like shock value jokes.
it doesn't
and
work,
then,
right?
no,
You know?
well, it's the thing is, it worked once, and then that's like, oh, that's my thing.
And
you can't do that.
Even like Stern is like that to me or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just the shock value thing is like, it's never got it done for me.
Anything that shtick based, right? Whether it's like being the spazzy Robin Williams guy or being the shock value guy. It's like at the end of the day, the material's got to be able to speak for itself, right? Like just be funny without all the ancillary bullshit going on.
Oh, I see people that have like a stand-up set that's like not centered around actually doing jokes. I'm like, how long is this gonna last?
There you go. Exactly.
It's so weird. Like, there's a lot of comedians coming around because they're blowing up off of TikTok, and let's say they're able to book and sell, right? But they're not able to truly perform.
To deliver on that fucking. It's like, okay, you got 1 billion views on this one TikTok, but like you haven't really put in the time that like these killers have put in 10 years.
Yes.
And now you've heard of them, but you didn't know about the 10 years before, you know, so they could come out and just fucking slay, you know, instead of one stupid joke or one bullshit ass piece of crowd work on TikTok. They got 1 million fucking views or whatever. You know, and I'm not anti crowd work, but it's a little. I mean, fucking Matt Rife's new special is just crowd work.
I could not watch it. What you guys? Did you guys watch it?
No.
Okay. I love when someone admits they're a hater, though.
Sorry, I'm kind of hating.
Oh, nah. It's always welcome. It's honesty.
Be iconic at the end of the day.
Far too good looking.
There's a cutoff.
But that's a real thing, right? Like, you got all these people trading on the value of their name from TikTok or fucking internet short clips or whatever, but it's a different art form entirely, right? Like, if you're sitting down and doing some little 30-second sketch, like that's very different than, oh, I'm gonna be up here with a mic for 60 minutes trying not to shit the bed, you know?
And then that's like the benchmark for a headliner is to do 45 minutes, but you have to have more than 45 minutes, so you're able to rely on something else when things go awry or anything like that. Like if you only have 45 minutes and something doesn't go right, wow, I guess I got 42.
You burned through that fucking 45 and 30, you know, and now you're standing around looking like an asshole.
This is another thing that I find baffling is that attention spans across the board are non-existent right now. Right? Like everybody's down to give me the 10-second clip of something to laugh at. And specials are still like an hour 5, hour 10. I don't get it. And it's too much. I don't need that much funny. I need like 40 minutes of funny.
Well,
it's the perfect amount of funny.
We were talking about just a couple weeks ago, a special I just watched that fucking is also Dave Chappelle related, was fucking the Earthquake special. Did you catch Earthquake special? Do you know about Earthquake?
No.
He's one of the like OG like Kings of Comedy, black comic, like, you know, like that, you know, the big suits and the,
Steve Harvey, he's all of them.
Yeah, he's like OG Washington D.C. guy, club owner from back in the day. So he's like a dual like club owner and comic.
Terrifying.
And one of Dave Chappelle's like he's one of the guys that kind of like brought Chappelle up in a way. You know, like this motherfucker Earthquake. So it's only a 40-minute special, and that's why I remembered it. It was because it wasn't too goddamn long, and it was just jokes, dude. And like it opens with like Chappelle does a little intro, and he kind of talks about it. Like when I was a young comic, you know, I showed up to this club in Washington D.C., and this fucking dude brought me up and whatever, and this fucking guy was just a force of nature, he calls him, and then he's like, and his name was Earthquake. And then
literally named it.
I like that intro. That intro kills.
And then and he's like, you know, and 20 years later or whatever, 30 years later or whatever, like he does this fucking special, and it was, I don't want to oversell it because then you won't think it's funny, but like
I'm down. Oversell, dude. I will watch.
So fucking funny, dude. And it's just like, again, just banger jokes, quick hit.
I like it.
You know, just like he's going off, he does like 10 minutes about his kids, and like normally I'm like with the kids stuff, but this is like, after 18, I'm done with y'all motherfuckers. And it was like the whole setup. And just like, I was literally like, kind of like almost in tears because it's just so fast, you know?
Earthquake.
And it's fucking Earthquake, dude. Just killing for 40 minutes and I'm out.
There's something about stacking jokes on top of jokes. Like, don't even give them a chance to catch the breathe. Just fucking keep it, because it's contagious, you know? Whether you're watching it by yourself or with a group of people, like, laughter is contagious, man. Get it going and then keep it rolling. Don't have this big laugh and this big apex and this climax and then I'm gonna back it down and do a 20-minute story, you know. Just keep it going, dude. If you can keep that whole trained rolling. That's a good way
and
to go.
live, we always talk about this too, and I mean it's not like everybody knows this, but like live comedy is so much funnier than watching anything on a screen or anything. So
that's I think a very difficult thing for a lot of people when they do specials, because not everyone can translate across that, like versus being a live comic, and to be funny via audio only, like we talked about earlier, is a different skill.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's only a few people that can do hour-long specials, so more people are now gearing towards doing 40 and 37 minutes. David Tell, was it hot fresh buns or hot? What was it?
Hot cross buns. Which that's the stupid song you learn on the
recorder. Yeah. Oh my god! He pulled that out and I just died. I was like, this, but that was an amazing special. I laughed like his laughs per minute killed me.
Exactly. At that point. Yeah. And also, like, give me that instead of like, because like, I also like, I'm gonna throw it on when I'm eating dinner or something, and it's like, like, all right, I'm kind of maybe done with this, I don't want maybe, just keep the laughs coming. That's where it's got to be, and that goes back to my kind of gripe about those Chappelle special in a way. It's like I'm okay with your philosophies, and like you can tell me that stuff, but like maybe save it for
I think those don't tell comedy like specials, like mini specials, are becoming more and more popular now. More people want to do it because you're garnering so many views, but you're only giving up 10 minutes of material.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus the other exchanges, you're giving up 40 minutes, 45.
Yeah. It became 2 years of work.
Correct.
Like,
Like I the idea of starting fresh is terrifying. And I don't think I've talked to many people that had to. Like, I think there's I only know a handful of people that recorded a special and I got to see them afterwards, and they're not doing any of those jokes at all.
Right. So are you thinking about doing it though? You kind of mentioned earlier you're thinking about maybe doing it.
Years.
You kind of really, because I feel like you kind of got to at some point. Like even as a musician, it's like you kind of got to put those songs down and move on to the next songs.
But I want to make sure that it's like my best, and it's only gonna be 30 minutes. It's my best 30 minutes right now. I think I got a perfect 15, and perfect is just like my definition perfect, where it's like a surefire and high hit rate. Like I can do 15, I can do 20, I can do 25, but I don't think all of those jokes will murder, because like there's a thing where if I'm in a certain rooms, because that's the only thing I'm not looking forward to certain shows, because the room and area that it's in can sometimes be a bit touchy when it comes to race jokes, and I do a lot of race jokes because that's my experience. So a lot of times I'm talking about like, you know what, white people, I've had enough. I'm
over it.
Exactly. Sideways looks and fruit ported up. Pinecrest lanes.
Stop!
Come again.
That's a fun room. I will admit that's a fun room.
It seems like people that go to comedy shows though are like, like
there's a special place in hell reserved for people who get offended at comedy shows.
Come on, you're there to like get your balls broken. Like, come on, like, let's hear some fucking funny shit. Like, if you can't take a fucking joke, what the fuck are you doing here, dude?
I mean, I had one of my favorite sets of the year last night at Dr. Grin's, and I remember I started off because I was looking at this like older white table, and I started off with this like little quick bit where I'm just like, I'm glad there's a nice crowd here, a lot of people, mostly white, and at that moment that usually gets the laughs, and I just saw this table just like whisper to each other
like, oh no.
And then I was like, all right,
he's looking at us.
I was like, I gotta crack them, and then later we get to that point and we got them. I do like other jokes where I talk about like let's see here. The funny thing about like dementia is you don't remember your loved ones, your family members. You still remember you don't like black people. and it was like, that was like, all right, got them. We got them.
That is funny. That's a funny joke.
It's my favorite, but those rooms are tough. And when I'm in that situation, I now look at it as a challenge where those jokes have to be able to make that type of person laugh.
Yeah.
So when it does all that and I have 30 minutes of that, then we're go time for the special.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. And I suppose when you work up to it, I guess my sort of counter argument I'm making is like, it's like you might not actually really be able to get to like great until you like, it's like you got to kind of do good and then like do that and like finish it and set it aside, and then it's like what worked there and you kind of build on that. It's like any any early comedian stuff is probably not as good as they
Not at all.
you know, or
Horrible.
Or any musician, with exceptions, of course, is like, you know, most musicians' first couple of records aren't really the ones. It's like that third record where like now you got your sound, now you got your thing, you know. So like there's I think maybe a certain balance there, though. If you keep riding it to death of like the material you're on now, like it's never gonna be perfect because it's just not that from the get-go because you're just starting. So
there's also the aspect of like you only get one chance to make a first impression.
True.
So I kind of get where you're coming from there too. You know, it's like good arguments on both sides of the coin, but if the first thing you put out there is mediocre, like nobody's got, you know, you're not going to get a second chance.
The debut album, you know, that's what people always try to showcase it like that. I heard a comic where I think she recorded her special. She didn't put it out yet, so she was able to still do those jokes. And she said her only regret was some of those jokes she was able to get better over that 6-month period of time. Sure. And I was like, dang it. And there's still jokes that I'm figuring out can work a different way that I've used for years. I go back to stuff that I tried to do year one. And like I said, I'm only in year 3. I'm trying to figure. I'm like, wow, wait, this premise, I can figure it out.
There, but you can rework the actual thing to get to what
wording
you're
in that. Like, that's the bitch of it, you know. Like you can word it so many different ways, and just one little tweak can make it so much better. But then you overcraft. It's a whole deal.
Yeah, there is some weird thing about knowing like when something's ready, when it's like it's still fresh enough. Yes. It ain't overdone. You don't want to overcook it.
And then that's when it's rough because I've seen people struggle with overcooking a joke, and I'm like, I can tell you don't like saying that joke anymore at all.
Yeah.
And so
if you and then if in the audience, if you can tell, the audience can tell, even if they don't consciously know, but it's like that reads. There is something about comedy where it does have to feel like sort of spontaneous still. Like even if you've done it a million times, like it still has to kind of come off as something that is a little bit off the cuff or something.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I'm really fine tuning this Clinton Lewinsky dress joke. It's almost there. It's just almost like another couple of weeks, and this thing's gonna be ready to go, baby. Yeah,
indeed.
I think more and more nowadays, people, the average comedy goer and comedy fan, they still don't know that we use the same material and we're like showcasing it and trying to fine tune it for years, you know?
Right.
Like people don't think that. Like I have people that ask me, it was like, yeah, man, that was funny. Would you say that next show after that first show? I was like, no, that was the same. It was the same night.
I was flustered.
I was one of those guys.
I was like, I don't know what else to use. I was like, old moves, they work. Oh man,
we went and caught Jim Gaffigan one time, and I had just watched the Hot Pockets special or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? This guy's doing the same Hot Pockets material. So I didn't even know that, and that was just a handful of years. And in fairness, he's still using that. You know, still beating the shit out of that dead horse.
100%. I mean, I think none of us beat Bert. Bert is the one who has the joke that's just the most famous.
That's an anomaly where it's like, that's almost like with music where people want him to tell that fucking story where it's like they want you to play Freebird, you know what I mean? Like, which is like with most comics, it's like, if we've heard it, it's not going to be funny because they've already heard it.
Exactly.
But like, it's just this weird thing of like that fucking story. Everybody wants to hear the fucking machine story.
And I saw him at Van Andel probably about 2 years ago, and that was it. They were chanting for the joke. They wanted the joke. And this is where he got all the health kicks and everything.
Yeah.
And he went on and got hammered at Tin Can down at Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And then
we heard
Founders.
From our guest last week. He was hanging out with him after that show or something.
Dude, he goes hard. And I just like that. I was just seeing like, oh, Snapchat. Oh, wow. He's getting after
Apparently
it.
he loves Grand Rapids. He's here a lot.
Yes.
We talked about that last week too. He's here like every year about, you know. Or like,
I think the thing with Bert though, and I'm the one human being that's never seen the full machine joke. I never watched the special for the first time. I've seen some other stuff.
You know, like
Ever?
All right, I'll do the whole thing right now.
Here we go.
Let me take my shirt off and lay it all down.
Okay, while it's comedy and everything, it's also the difference between a great story and a great joke. And I think people are willing to hear a great story multiple times, whereas like the joke, half the thing is like, oh, it's the freshness of it and being shocked by it. Like even with movies, right? Like The Sixth Sense, the glory of The Sixth Sense is the big twist.
Yeah.
Once you know the big twist, it's done. But if there's a super great, like plot-driven, story-driven movie,
still a great movie.
You can rewatch the shit out of that.
I think my take on the Burt thing is that it's just kind of the only thing he's ever done that's funny.
I mean, he does take his shirt off.
I don't like Burt's one of those guys that are like, man, you want to hang out with Burt Kreischer, but like, I don't know, the comedy's just kind of okay to me. It's another one of those like, it's fine, there's funny stuff, but like it's never really like, because I think we're both like the drier or more like a little bit cerebral kind of shit or something like, I don't know.
No, as soon as you said Sam Morril, I was just like, okay, so you like a very, I like this too. I like Set Up Punch, and my favorite comedian of all time is Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, dude. Come on, he's the GOAT, dude.
Yes, so not self-appointed.
Yeah, indeed. Probably though.
He could be. He could have been.
He's probably walking. Oh, I'm the greatest. He was.
He should. He deserved it. And the thing is, his jokes are timeless. They work now. They worked 10 years ago, 30 years ago, and so then because his jokes centered around life. Like you didn't need people to rush the Capitol. You didn't need 9/11. You don't need these certain nuances of things that happen.
Yeah.
His jokes work. Any decade.
Because it's universal.
Yep.
You ever catch his fucking shit about, he always had that shit about his doctor.
Oh,
Vinny
yes.
Boom Box or whatever, all that shit. Oh, Vinny Boom Box. Jesus Christ.
And then that would just get the pop immediately because he built it up to be such a thing.
You know my doctor, and he'd already done it a bunch of times on the Tonight Show, so Johnny's playing along.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, doctor, go back here. My doctor, you know my doctor. I told you about my doctor, right?
And he would have so many different bits about it, and like he would just have a category of bits where I think that's where, because that's Sam Morril's favorite comic is also, and so he like embodies a lot of that.
Jerry Seinfeld's too.
Really? Yeah. I've watched Seinfeld's comedy, and then I was like, it's not for me. And I watched the show 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
And I love Seinfeld's comedy. It's a little bit. It is kind of clean. It is
clean is always fine.
Era, like it's. Stuff's just different, like it is weird. Like Seinfeld kind of gets like, I feel like younger people kind of hate on Seinfeld. And to me, I'm like, Seinfeld to me is one of the greatest of all time.
Nothing against him. And I agree. He is one of the greatest of all time, especially what he did within the business at this point.
Yeah.
But I like my favorite clean comic that exists today is probably Dusty Slay.
Dude, I was going to bring him up earlier, dude. Yeah. Oh my God.
He is
funny, man.
One of the nicest people I've ever met. And he's also a great comedian. And so we went to one of the shows. It was Thursday at Dr. Grant's.
I wish I would have fucking seen that.
Not this year. It was like last year.
Still though, I watched whatever fucking little comedy special he had. Or
Working Man.
It might have just been on like YouTube or something.
Oh, okay. So not the Netflix one.
It might have been. I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows? But it's not. It was like pretty low budget, pretty like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I was just like, this is fucking hilarious.
So it was the previous one, yeah. And he's just like, they weren't supposed to do a show at Dr. Grin's that night. So if they have special shows, they don't do shows on that Thursday. They don't do the open mic.
Yeah.
They had the open mic. We go there, myself, Carl, a couple other comics and whatnot. Carl goes, murders. Second comic goes. Newer comic. Doesn't go that great. Dusty just walks right on out. He's like, I can't see this.
I can't let this happen.
And so at the end of the show, like the whole thing happens. Myself and Carl go up to him, just talking like, hey man, that was a great show, thank you. And him and his feature, and he's like, yeah, isn't this a cigar lounge? Because he's sober nearby. And I was like, I don't know. And Carl said yes. And he's like, all right, cool. Would you guys like to come? I have never smoked a cigar in my entire life.
Yeah.
I call my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, I gotta not go see you.
We go puff a stove with Dusty Slay. No big deal,
Yeah.
Turning all green and howling and shit.
Oh, dude. That was
great. It was a great time.
I was so glad. That was the only thing I knew about cigars. You just don't inhale them. You just go and puff out immediately.
It could still be a lot.
It was tough. And we get there and we go to this place and you can't wear a hat in the place. So it's really kind of serious. It's weird. They take us into this vault that has all the cigars. And he's like, hey man, guys, cigars on me. Just don't go crazy. And I was like, what is the price of a cigar?
Right, yeah.
They're like $20 at most. Like $20, that's a top one.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I asked, can I get something like sweet? And that's not the best question to ask. he shows me the one that has honey. And I was like, yeah, that's the one. We get it. We're doing it. And I got a head buzz in the middle of that. I hadn't told Carl about, and I was like, yeah, I almost went nonverbal for a second. It was, but we walked them all back to the hotel. They were just him and his feature, Drew. They were great.
But you weren't drinking whiskey and shit at the time, because that's usually like the move with like cigars. And,
he was sober, and I think I just didn't care because I wanted to make sure I could handle the cigar.
Yeah, it can be. I mean,
it was tough. My car reeked the next day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no getting that stink
it can
off
be a
the clothes.
situation if you're smoking a cigar and drinking this stuff, and you get a little too like, ooh, yeah.
Dude, I didn't want to puke hanging my only time hanging out with Dusty's Slay. That'd be a bummer.
Yeah,
and Dusty's been a blast.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. I try to just play it cool and normal around people that I know are like, I don't know.
I mean,
famous.
He's not a super, but he's not some superstar. So he's famous in the comedy world a little bit, you know, whatever. Like, I don't know. Nothing. I'm just, he's just a normal guy. That's the thing. Like, they're all just.
I gotta imagine those guys appreciate that. Like, I'm sure it's just weird.
He's
having
just
people
you
look
10
at you
years
like
in, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever.
I wish. I hope.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like it's just some guy who's just been doing it for a while. It's just a skill, So. I
just don't like to always just be normal with everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a lot of people like I never told Deggy this, but we had some drinks, and when the first time I met Deggy, I was like, I gotta play it cool because I've always found him very hilarious and one of the funniest people in Grand Rapids. So I was like, all right, gotta play it cool, and that's how it works when I meet a lot of people from like the east side of the state. Like I know their work and I know how funny they are, but I can't overdo it.
Yeah.
See, I'm at Deggy with having never heard him do anything.
What?
he came on the pod, and,
before you seen him?
Yeah, and then I saw him. It was maybe about a month later when he was headlining at Dr. Grins or whatever, So like, hilarious. So we got to fucking reach out to him. He's a funny motherfucker.
He is absolutely. Anytime he does shows there, I'm always like, hey, that's my fiance. I'm like, we gotta go.
Yeah,
we gotta be there.
Well, you might have been there. Did you?
I was Thursday.
It was. I know it was over a holiday weekend.
It was like a Labor Day.
Yeah, it was Labor Day. What day were you there?
I think I was there on like the Friday early show.
We did Thursday because I think we had to go up north for a cabin trip.
Can't remember. It was like our anniversary or something.
I can't remember.
Also true, but that came out. I couldn't remember exactly which. I know we went to dinner and we were fucking hammered. I do remember that.
Yes.
So yeah. And then I remember hearing, because then my buddy was at his late show randomly, and I guess that show was just a shit show, off the rails. Like the crowd was terrible, and all this shit happened. It's pretty funny because he killed. It wasn't him. It was like it just sometimes shit goes awry, So like, but yeah, he fucking killed. He reminds me of Todd Barry.
Really?
Yeah. You know Todd Barry?
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of him, like his delivery a little bit and stuff. But he's a funny guy.
I think when you look at like all the comedians in Michigan, it goes like, I think him and like Josh Adams. Are you familiar with Josh Adams at all?
No.
Okay, so Josh Adams is an East Side comedian. He the most notable thing that he's done that a lot of people call attention, it was like HBO Hard Knocks when they did Detroit Lions on.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So they had a comedian on there, and it was him, and he murdered. Like he's the best like crowd work comic, or just can make anything funny, if you will.
Right.
I've got a chance to see him in the East Side, and then I've seen Deggy plenty of times. I was like, they are just like, I think the top two that we have to offer in Michigan.
Sweet. Yeah.
Dave Dyer, amazing. Got to go watch his comedy album recording. He had Deggy feature for him on that one too.
Nice.
No.
Hell yeah.
Please get out there, check it out.
Yeah, indeed. What's going on with you? Where's your shows coming up here?
I'm going to be featuring, these are some of the club weekends I have scheduled for next year. I'm going to be featuring at Niles in the second week of February. Let's just check a little bit. So I got the actual dates because I put everything on there because we have a joint calendar, because that's how the pre-married life works. February 7th and the 8th, I'll be at the Underground Laugh Lounge in Niles, Michigan. I'll be featuring, doing about 25 to a half hour there. I'll be working the weekend at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, April 1st through the 3rd. May 1st through the 3rd.
Nice.
And I'll be hosting for Ronan Hirschberg. That'll be pretty sweet.
Ronan's funny, dude. That'll be a good show.
I'm excited to just meet him. June 20th and 21st, I'll be back at Underground Laugh Lounge for another weekend, working it, killing it. And then probably at the end of that month, I'll be getting married. So that looks like our date.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Man, well, fucking let us know when you're going to play GR next.
Of course, I'll let you know back at Grins.
Yeah, that'd be fucking fantastic, or whatever's going on. Hit us up, let us know.
Right.
Yeah, fucking thanks for coming out, man. It was a fucking great convo.
Hey, appreciate you coming out, man.
Got you here. So, yes. All right, I guess we'll wrap it up.
All right, sounds good.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.